the second Dale called me, he's like blasting across the stars in the background, which like I cannot hear without immediately just like this wave of Raylo feels just like falling upon me. So I'm like, thank you for like putting me in this mindset, Dale.
I think of Anakin and
well, I mean, it's the Annie Dalla song, but I mean, like in the audiobook of The Last Jedi novelization, they play Across the Stars. They also play it in the Lost Stars audiobook like a million times. It's great.
I'm going to eat this sandwich while we do our show. Because
professional.
No, just know that it's off screen and I want to eat it.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't. Okay, so it's funny. I'm listening to that music, and what's so funny is I'm listening to that music, like just not that music. I was listening to the Star Wars chill thing that I sent you, and it, like it starts with the Force theme or binary stars, and then Rey's theme, which I love Rey's theme so much. It's so good. And then it gets to Across the Stars, which is so funny because when I was getting ready, I was like, "Oh, Across the Stars is playing." Like. Shannon's just sitting there like as Across the Stars is playing, and like that's like, and we're gonna talk about Star Wars today, and this. I mean,
obviously, if Shannon's on the show, we're talking about Star Wars.
No, but like we're gonna, we're gonna talk about stuff. And we're gonna talk about.
It's actually gonna go even deeper into my psyche in my week because I put like everything on the rundown just to give you guys a warning.
Yeah, she did do a lot of the rundown. No, it's gonna be awesome, and so it was funny that was playing, and I was like, I was almost kind of like, oh, this kind of sets the tone for what this episode is already going to be. Like we're just both triggered,
just immediately. Already. Yeah. Well, when I had my Star Wars marathon with my cousin. When we got to Attack of the Clones, we like took a break to go make some popcorn, and so like they play Across the Stars like on the menu screen, and it was just like on loop, and I'm like, Kaylin, like, girl, okay, we just have to start this movie because I've got the feel.
Yeah, we're gonna turn this off.
Yeah, I'm gonna just turn it off.
What are you doing to me?
It was so loud. It was just over and over and over, and just like the part where it swells too, and I'm like, oh my god.
This is episode 59 of the DCC. This week, we've got a lot of movie news about movies that you don't even know exist, and why are we talking about them? Because they're going to be awesome, and there's always a connection. We've got an animation attack, and we've got to geek out. We're going to talk about some of the conversations that are happening about Episode 9. Look, we're all excited for Solo, but Solo is a movie that we need to talk about more after it comes out. Big thing, when you listen to this, it'll have already happened, but for me, it's in the future. And so I have to do my traditional, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Network 1901 proudly brings to you its two most popular hosts of this show, Dale and Shannon. Woo! And I got two, and if you ain't down with that, I got two words for ya. The suck it. That's right. Yeah, you have to suck it. It's WrestleMania, everybody. It's WrestleMania, and I am excited. I think that I wonder if Corey and Josh are gonna get to watch WrestleMania together. Oh no! That makes me jealous. So, to all who come to this happy place, welcome, brother, to the greatest show ever.
I'm very confused.
I know. You don't have to understand.
Okay.
It's WrestleMania. It's the biggest wrestling event in the world.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
It's huge. They wrestle outside. You know how much dangerous it is outside?
The element.
Yeah. Right. It goes from light to dark, brother.
No way.
No, it's WrestleMania. Actually, so you probably weren't on that show, but I think for 3 years now since I've been podcasting, I have done that that intro. But I think Josh was on the last time, and Andy, obviously. But on that time, I guess I was on that show.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It seems like forever ago. I feel
know, right?
It's like, whoa, geez, it's so different.
I was actually thinking about it because like I was a sophomore when Zootopia came out, and that's when you guys emailed me to join and start like writing with you guys.
Right.
And I'm like about to graduate in like May, and I'm like, oh my god.
And and you've gotten into crazy, wacky college adventures like in the films, right?
Oh, totally. All of the wacky adventures. Yeah, like right now, like stress is eating me alive. It's a great wacky adventure.
Right. Like one year you just read 100 books. Like what?
Well, actually, I haven't gotten to read 100 books in a year yet. I'm working my way up to it. 80's the goal this year.
Okay, that's like I haven't read 80.
Like all together.
Probably not. If you really probably add it up, I don't like really like if we're really honest with ourselves, everybody. Except for Shannon and the like.
Yeah.
It's probably.
I think so far this year I've read 25. I'm not sure. I had to just rage quit one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I just actually. We really should bring it back because I'm going to be talking about Audible a lot now. So like we should just bring back our sponsorship for that. But I did just listen to Paper Magician, and it was good. I liked it.
I find it very strange that you read that. I would never recommend that book to you.
Well, it was set in 1901, and I like that time period and 1901, and I knew that Disney was looking to develop it, and so I just wanted to kind of check it out. And I liked it. I didn't but it like it doesn't finish. It sets up a saga, which you don't get your final act. Which is why I enjoyed Artemis so much, because it was just like a beginning, middle, end, and it was like a cool kind of thrill ride in the end. And again, like even with Name of the Wind, like I had that issue with it, because you're just like, this is a good place to stop, and you're like, okay, like
well, I mean, that's what a lot of YA books do, especially when they want to be a trilogy. They just kind of leave off like that. And I know that in particular Paper Magician gets a lot of, I've never read it, but apparently like it's weird because the pacing's strange, and that like it's supposed to be historical fiction, but like her historical facts are not the best, and like I don't know, I just keep hearing weird things about it.
The middle it's really long. Like the middle,
really,
yeah. Like the beginning and the end are so short, and the middle is so long. It basically sets up like she doesn't want to be doing what she does. She meets her teacher. She's like, this guy's a goof, and then she's kind of like, oh, that's kind of cute though, and then she starts to see how impressive the thing is. Then she gets trapped literally in his heart, and like learns who he is and falls in love with him through venturing through his heart, which is a cool concept. But like that is the entire book, is like her venturing through each ventricle of his heart, which represents like a different part of our feelings, like hopes and dreams and like uncertainty and stuff like that. And it's cool. It's a great concept. I really enjoyed it, but it just like, I was like, I'm like, oh wow, they're really getting into the action real quick. Like that's good. And then I'm like, oh, like they're still in the action. Like it's like it would all be like it's like all a dream sequence, and essentially. And then she gets out of the heart, and like it's like thus concludes my first like couple of months as a Paper Magician.
That's basically what people have been saying on Goodreads, is that the pacing is just all over the place, and that the characters are kind of meh on it. So I mean, I'd still like to read it, but it's not high on my priorities. But what is high on my priorities is to reread Chaos Walking, which I didn't know. I have actually read the first book in that series.
So I guess I won't get to read it for like a year or so, but
exactly. Which I just ordered like the whole series on Thrift Book, so I get to start rereading it now.
But my next book's going to be Thrawn. I'm waiting for my Audible credit for that one, and I'm going to buy Thrawn because I'm excited about that, because I think that either the Game of Thrones guys or Ryan Johnson are going to have their saga about it. I kind of think more for the Game of Thrones guys, because
I would say
the
them
plot of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I would think. And it sounds like Ryan Johnson wants to do something like totally different. Totally different, right. Which I'm really excited for. I think his is going to be cool.
Someone left us a review on iTunes, so I want to read this for you. It's super nice, and I love it. it's from Noldor. Nolder. Always in everything, like the Saturday Morning Live, commenting on videos, and like supportive and nice, and just always participating in our community. And couldn't recommend like a nicer person to talk to if you see comments, or if you want to have like, if you're worried about commenting on something or sending us a message, like these are the type of people that interact with you. And so it's really nice. We've got a nice group of people. So an amazing podcast, 5 stars. It's been over a year since I've been listening. The shows are always great. The production is amazing and sometimes interactive. They can go into deep topics from their viewpoints on the LGBT community to rights for any group of people. The DCC reviews news and goes into culture of Disney. It can also get into a controversial topic. Modern Mouse Radio also goes into controversial topics every show, showing how Disney can impact society or what Disney can do to improve society. Finally, the Friday shows are always great. The World That Never Was reviews attractions never built. Explain This Book to Me reviews books. Discovering Star Wars shows someone watching Star Wars for the first time and what their thoughts are. You know, those shows don't really sound that great when you say it like that. No, I'm kidding. Network 1901 is a great community with amazing shows and can trust the community. And you can trust. Oh, wow, that's so nice. You know what? It's funny. I don't actually think. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so funny that I said those comments after you say that. If you get the chance, you should really listen to this network and check out their YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I butchered it. I'll probably edit out the part where I lose the sentence.
And that's Dale signaling to me to edit it out. We'll see what happens.
Right. Please don't make me sound stupid.
You don't need my help for that, Dale.
Oh, thanks. So please leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, like that. It doesn't have to be 5 stars. It's okay if you listen to us all the time and don't 5-star us. We just want to hear from you, and those reviews are great for us, and it means a lot. It means the world to us. Like that, I think a review is nice because unlike a comment, you can just kind of say how you feel about the thing, and then we really can see it, and it makes us feel nice. It's a really nice way to make our day feel really, really good. Let's geek out. Shannon, so right now, what's kind of happening in media with Star Wars Episode 9, and what are kind of people talking about right now?
As far as Episode 9 is concerned, I mean, everybody's still mostly just speculating, trying to figure out where exactly this movie is going to start. There was a rumor on Reddit that there is going to be a 2-year time jump, and that the big focus for Kylo Ren's character is going to be loneliness. And I know, at least in my corner of the fandom, there's a lot of anxiety about where this movie, how it's going to start. Because, if there is a 2-year time jump, it's okay, well, what about all of the Force spawns? Okay, how sad is Kylo Ren going to be when we start this movie? So, we're just trying to figure out exactly what that's going to mean. Mostly just because the corner of the fandom that I'm in, we're pretty sure we're getting, Ben Dimshin, we're going to have, he's going to live, that kind of stuff. But it's kind of where we're at right now.
Here's my... So, Kylo Ren is they can still see each other, but Rey has been choosing to ignore him and not respond to him.
Yeah, I agree.
He continues to just try to talk to her.
Yeah, I think so.
Could you? Yeah, great.
There's a lot of fan fictions
the
like that.
The pain train is real.
The pain train is so real, though. Although my personal headcanon for how I think it's going to start is that there's going to be some kind of battle, and they'll be fighting each other, and it looks like they hate each other, but then it'll be revealed that they've been having all of these Force bonds, and their relationship is established.
So they've been training together in the Force bond world. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Oh my god, that'd
be amazing, right? Right.
I do kind of like the ignoring one though too, just because of how sad it makes them.
Oh yeah, well, especially since it's going to be about loneliness, and we talk a lot about how I think one of the. Why don't you
pay attention to me?
I think one of the main themes of the sequel trilogy is kind of finding your belonging and finding your home, and they seem to be hinting that home is kind of the Millennium Falcon. And wouldn't it be amazing if a lonely Ben Solo ends up on the Millennium Falcon and he's home again? The dice keep making an appearance, all of this stuff, and it's this is what I want. This just, I don't know.
I hate that ship.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky.
It gets everywhere. That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so some of the things I've been hearing about 7, 8, 9 is, and I don't know how much I believe this, and like I think it's all kind of a matter of perspective, and like earlier I had comments about how I felt Rian Johnson made a movie that was too corporate, but apparently, and kind of also seeing the documentary and watching all the bonus features, I was like, oh, that's the exact opposite. He got to make exactly the movie he wanted to make. There's never been a planned arc for the sequel trilogy, and that they are gauging responses of people with these set of films right now to gauge what to take and what to use in their own sagas.
Well, that's sort of true, because Rian Johnson does say in the documentary that like he wrote the script for Last Jedi before Force Awakens was even released. Right. So
and on Scavenger's Horde, you'll find out there's a great episode about a composer, about how it was the film was composed, and they had a composer come on and talk about it, and they talked about how he used to submit like scored versions of the video to John Williams and be like, yeah, like make that, and some John Williams wouldn't always listen, but like that's a lot of control, actually. And so,
well, it's like what Carrie Fisher said. Like he had a very clear vision of what he wanted,
but it also that use that I understand, and I think that should help people understand too why fandom is so strong about dissecting the movie, because first off, we had J.J. Abrams, who's like, I'm the plot guy. I set up a whole bunch of plots and like wacky like twists and things, and so that's what's gonna be, and I'm gonna do that in this movie. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then the next movie's like, it's like, hey, I'm also doing the exact same thing, and I'm like picking specific songs for specific reasons, and I'm using like footage to mirror this other footage, and I'm flipping it around, and I'm doing it all on purpose, so feel free to dissect and ask me any questions you'd like. So like that's why everyone's so feverish about it. Like we're all like, it's so intense because they are making it for us to dissect. Star Wars, people used to dissect it like all the time, and it really wasn't that thing that we used, like, even though we were dissecting Star Wars, it was never really made that way in a lot of ways. And then with the prequels, it started to become that way because it was like you're explaining all of the stuff, all the connections. And so this one, you don't know the connections yet because it's not a backstory. And so we're dissecting it, but there is so much to dissect. So it just keeps fueling us. We find more and more stuff all the time. Like it's intense. Like there's so much. And I have thought it was a little weird though. There isn't very much documentary footage and a lot of conversations of Adam Driver talking about Star Wars. And then I saw a clip of him talking about the throne scene, and I'm like, oh, I want to hear him talk more about Star Wars. Where's all my Adam Driver content?
Well, as somebody in the Thirst Order, we're always starving for Adam Driver content. Right. So we take any little bit we can get, which we'll talk about later.
But no, how come? Like, why do you think we're not getting any behind the scenes with him? Did he like not talk to the camera as much, or what? I
think honestly, when it comes to anything concerning Kylo Ren, they really try to keep it like on the down low as much as possible. So like we get like very little of Adam Driver talking about, Kylo Ren or his relationships or where he's going in like the whole story. And I think it's entirely because like that's the linchpin of everything. Like if you look at the promotion for The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren is missing for a lot of it, and that's because he spends like the entire movie like without his mask. And like we had known that, like could you imagine like what the fandom would have done with that, because we would have been like freaking out. Mm-hmm. I think if you know anything about Kylo Ren at all going into the next movie, it's going to like change everything. Like he is definitely the biggest mystery that you have to try to keep like a secret going into the movies. And I think if you get Adam Driver talking about it, it's going to give too much away because we are so observant. We are looking for those things.
Right. And so you have Ridley, you always have Daisy talking about him but never him talking about him as much.
Right. Yeah.
And there is a clip about the throne scene floating around on Facebook right now of him just like, she's like, yeah, he always just has like the 100% intense performance.
Yeah, he's always on.
He's always dialed in and always on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can I ask you? Here's a question for you, and I don't know how easy it is to answer. What I gather from people who liked Force Awakens or people who like Star Wars and then didn't like The Last Jedi is, especially after watching it multiple times, what I can see that it's hard for them is not whether or not the movie was good or bad, because the movie's good. It is a well made and well crafted film. Like, those sets are gorgeous. Like, that wasn't location. Like, they built that. Like, to find that out, I was like, what?
Right?
Like, they are gorgeous. Like, this is the Lord of the Rings. Like, they really, really crafted it. And so did J.J. Abrams. Like, really, he, like, give him credit. And, building sets is like the happy medium between CG and location and all that stuff. Like, it is just so awesome. I think, okay, so the reason why they say they hate it or why they're so mad is because The Last Jedi isn't quite really the movie that The Force Awakens set up for it to be, right? That would be what I would kind of just like just discern from that, is that some of the stuff was there in Force Awakens, and people are right, and The Last Jedi validated their great analyzing, and especially like in the shipping community and I guess like in the fangirl community and the fiction writers and the meta writers, they were onto it. Really, really early, and Last Jedi can confirm all that, but some people and a lot of people didn't see that from The Force Awakens, and so they were upset and shocked because all their plots that they cared about had quick or not the type of conclusions they would have had thought. Are you going to be okay? And are you still going to like it if all the plots that you now think are going to be carried over to number 9 are going to be different and not necessarily connected to Force Awakens, but not feel connected to the same movie the way that people feel upset now?
I mean, obviously, I would be disappointed if things didn't go the way that I envisioned them going, because, like we're going to put so much time.
Go the way you think.
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to put so much time and effort into everything. But at the end of the day, I really trust the story group and JJ and just like everybody at Lucasfilm to give us the film that we, need. Like they're not going to just like make something. I mean, obviously people do think that like The Last Jedi was just like totally out of left field, but I do feel like 9 will make sense regardless if it goes the way that I want it to. I feel like it'll still feel right. And
anyone's kidding themselves if they don't think that like JJ and Ryan talked.
Oh yeah, like they talked a lot. Yeah, like, JJ was the executive producer of The Last Jedi. Yeah. He planted the seeds, guys.
Right. Yeah, like so. Here's the thing: a creative. And what I've talked about, what my problems with Damon Lindelof have been, and with J.J. Abrams does it too, is that I hate how many shotguns they put on walls, and they're like, "Whoa, try to pick which shotguns." Are like the twist is even going to be what reveal is revealed, right? Like that's the thing. One of the things they do is you don't even know what reveal will be revealed, and that's the biggest reveal. and I'll bet you a lot of people now are like, dang it, that is what they do.
Yeah. Well, because that's what Ryan even said, that he was like, I need to figure out what is the hardest thing for my characters to deal with. Totally. So like he didn't go in the direction that we all thought they were going to go in, because like that's not good. That's not like a good way to tell a story.
Yeah. Just as it was for the audience, the hardest thing for Rey was to find out that her parents were nobodies.
Yeah, it really is.
But I still hold to the fact that nobodies can still be, Force born, right?
Oh yeah. Well, the only reason that I have a because recently the Ray parentage problem has come back around because the actor who played Unkar Plutt actually said some stuff.
Simon Pegg, he's quite famous.
Well, it's just to me, it's just like
he actually
weird
wrote some of the script for Star Wars as well.
Well, it's just weird to me because like Daisy Ridley has been like saying from the beginning that like she doesn't really think her like Ray's parentage are that big of a deal, right. And nobody really took her word for it. But I mean, obviously her parents
Shannon.
could be. After all, what is she?
I don't even need to make the joke anymore, right?
No.
Nice. We have a shorthand now, so people are like, "What does well Shannon mean?" It's like,
what does well Shannon mean?
It means men suck.
It means men suck. Exactly. Well, because that's another thing. Like, does Rey really need to be like a man's daughter to be important?
Well, no.
Does she?
But everyone is a man's daughter, but except for Anakin.
Except for Anakin.
And here's the thing: here's how you could. This is how I think you make everyone happy. If I'm like, if I get hired to be a writer, which is like a dream of mine. Like one of my dreams would be to be a writer for SNL. Like I would love it. I think I'm already too old though. So, I think that what I would want to do to try to like, I think this could make a lot of people happy. And what I would want to do is just they're right. They were junkers. They're drunks. Like they're like nobodies. Okay, her parents. But like the dad has been away, like working, right? Whatever. I don't know, like working on like an oil rig for 6 months here, 6 months home back, kind of thing. And he comes home and he has a pregnant wife, and she can't explain that she didn't have sex with anybody, and the baby, like she's just pregnant, and the baby just kind of came from nowhere, and they have to. The mother, like gets rid of the baby to like try to like save her, to save her like her livelihood, and like doesn't want this kid, like she didn't want it. I think that is how you can still have your born from the Force and them to be nobody, and that's sad and poetic, and it mirrors the experience that Anakin had, which was unconditional love. So
yeah. Well, and I mean, like obviously, I have a few issues with that theory, which we don't really need to get into, but I would be okay with that because I am of the theory that like Rey and Ben Solo are like have had this bond for a very long time, right. And that would almost suggest that like she was created because Ben Solo was already in existence, right. And he needed the balance, right. And so I would be here for that if that happened.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And you can even like if you add that to it, I think it adds to the symmetry and the poetry of it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, they don't have to make anybody happy. They get to do whatever they want.
Because it's Star Wars.
We could all end up disappointed.
For you, are you like you die on the Reylo ship, you go down with you burn in the flames with the captain you're the captain probably of the ship, is that correct?
Oh yes, I am the captain of the SS Reylo for sure. Well, and like I also know that there are lots of ships going into 9. Yeah. Like obviously you have Reylo, there's Damray, there's Ponix, there's Finrose, there's Finray, there's Storm Pilot. Mm-hmm. In a perfect world,
do you all notice how she said Storm Pilot, everyone?
Yeah. In a perfect world, I would want Reylo and Storm Pilot. Yes, obviously. Right. I have a feeling that they might do when they start doing promotions for 9. I feel like they're gonna tease Damray, just because that's like the expected. I feel like that's like the expected ship. Like I know a lot of people think like Finray is the expected ship, but I feel like they would tease Damray just to hide the fact that Reylo's in game, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, but do you maybe feel like the marketing has already started for Finray in the sense, right? Like with John Boyega, with his comments and stuff, his vague, yay, we're working together text. Oh, I don't know what it has. She's read the script and I haven't. Really?
Well, but even then, though, like that wasn't surprising to me because, like, of course they're gonna be together in the movie.
Yeah. No, it's not surprising. I think the mention of it, though, like, Daisy Ridley sending a text to mention it probably is more than just like they hang out for a couple scenes.
Well, yeah, I would expect them to have more than just a few scenes together because they weren't together at all in The Last Jedi. Well, so like I just don't find anything surprising about that.
And that's the thing is like, and I've said this before, just for me, it doesn't have to be, but this is what I would like. I want, you know, a friend quest. Like I want them to like whatever it is they have to do. I want them to have to do it together as a group. I just want to see them all interact, right? Like they're the characters I like, and I want them to interact for a long period of time. So that's for me. That's my biggest ship is the friendship.
Yeah, the bro TP.
Yeah, just all of them together. But the thing is, like I always kind of try to like I've always Finn is like the type of guy in a lot of ways that like I wish I could be. And so I'm always like trying to root for those characters, even though I'm probably, I don't know, you know.
I just feel like his story is gonna be with like a Stormtrooper rebellion, which I do feel like we're gonna get, especially since they took that scene out of Last Jedi. I feel like Ryan feels like JJ's gonna do something with that. That's why he didn't want to keep it. Right. So I just feel like
there's no other reason not to keep it, to be honest.
Exactly, because it's so good.
In runtime, really.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and I just think that like their characters are going in very different directions. So to me, I just feel like his story lies elsewhere. Right. But I don't know. It could happen. I'd be okay if that happened. I'd rather him be with Storm Pilot, but that's just me.
The crazy thing about Solo, before we get off the Star Wars train, the main villain is a female, right?
Well, she's not the main villain.
Okay.
They said that she's kind of like a Phasma villain.
Okay. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Womp womp.
Well, no. I'm still very excited, and somebody on Twitter actually has this theory that maybe she's Han Solo's mom.
Oh.
Which I think could be cool.
That's cool.
And it also said that she might come back in other films. Like apparently we're going to get Solo spin-offs.
Yeah, so she's going to be like well, they're that happy with it now?
Apparently. These are all rumors.
See, I almost think they have. Do you wonder if maybe their model is to hire these like young creative people to like come and like start these movies and then be like, yeah, it's not working out, and then get like the veterans to come in and like clean it up and like rework their like fresh creative ideas?
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me if that's what they're doing, to be honest. Yeah,
like, because it does seem like there was news about how Rogue One, the writer, the script doctor came in and then he started like fixing it, and it was such a wreck I could only fix. He's like, it was such a train wreck that I could only ever fix it. And I'm like, wow, that's really crazy to say that. But, you know, of course, you're going to toot your own horn. He's like, yeah, I don't even like Star Wars, and I went and made that thing awesome. And so, you know, they have egos too.
I will say a thing about Rogue One, the novelization. I'm only 50 pages in, and it's amazing.
Oh, cool.
Like, for real.
Cool, yeah. I really like the Last Jedi novelization. I really helped connect with Kylo Ren more on that one. And I really, like, appreciate Luke's character more. That breaks my heart. I love how good that's like the caretaker scene must have been.
Yeah, the third lesson.
That must have been so late in the cuts because the only thing they didn't get was her running properly.
Well, and like the thing is too, you can see how perfectly it would fit into the film. That's kind of the thing with all of the deleted scenes. Like they're deleted, but you can still see that like they could have still happened, that we just didn't see it because they still fit in perfectly with the continuity.
Right, them being deleted doesn't mean that they didn't happen. They just didn't show it.
They just didn't show it. So to me, it's like I still think a lot of those deleted scenes are canon. So
yeah, that's tricky. That's tricky ground. I don't know.
It's tricky ground. It's really tricky ground. But I don't know. I don't know. Could be.
The pictures and stuff about the dumplings, the bow, like Pixar short?
I have seen a little bit of it. You sent me a little link to it.
Yeah, well, it's just pictures. It's super cute, and is about a Chinese Canadian mother, so that's exciting. Canada. And yeah, so that it you know, so that,
this is the short that's going to be in front of Incredibles, right?
2, yeah, it's super cute. It just looks really nice, and I'm really excited about it. I don't know, I like cute little things. It's like a little baby Baymax. Oh, hello, little baby Baymax.
I don't know if you can get cuter than Piper, though. Piper was pretty cute.
Piper was cute, but Piper's just so gorgeous that I'm like not even like, I'm like, this is so gorgeous, it's so beautiful.
I can't even remember what movie Piper played in front of, but I just remember being so in awe of it.
Wasn't it?
Was it Inside Out?
Yeah.
No, that was Lava.
Was it?
Yeah, Inside Out was Lava. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
So what was Piper? Was it The Good Dinosaur?
Maybe.
I can't remember. Guys, you need to help us.
Yeah. I guess I could have Googled it, but I don't feel like it.
I'm pretty sure Lava was Inside Out because I went with my friend, and not only did we obsess about Inside Out, but I remember we obsessed about Lava. So I'm pretty sure that's when that happened.
Finding Dory.
Oh.
Right, I remember that now. Now that I was told, I remember. Now that I know, I remember.
Exactly, that's how these things work.
It looks super cute, though. I'm really excited. It's adorable. And it's a really sweet story. I don't want to say too much about it because it's kind of like nice, but it'll make you cry probably.
Which is always good. Start off a Disney movie, or start off a Pixar movie already crying.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well,
yeah.
Finding Nemo did that for you, right? And what else is another one where you start off? Oh, Up.
Up. Yeah, Up. It's like having flashbacks. I don't know. Inside Out started the feels pretty early for me. Although the Inside Out's just like feels city for me.
Totally. Totes agree. You know, so crazy thing, Ready Player One has made $248 million worldwide, so yay. They must have made their money back by that amount, but who knows. Blockers started actually pretty good. It's already made $12 million worldwide. It's also called Cock Blockers, but they didn't call it Cock Blockers for some reason.
I mean, you can't market it that way, Dale.
They just put a rooster and then blockers on it.
It's a family movie.
It only cost $21 million. John Cena's in it. WrestleMania is on Sunday, and he still doesn't have a match. He called out The Undertaker, and I think that American Badass Undertaker will show, because Undertaker retired last year, so I don't want to see the dead man return. But John Cena's in it. He's a super great guy. He does a ton for other people. I actually think there's a list, and he's number 1 on the list of athletes who donate their time to charity. So I just want to talk about that because I'm excited for Ready Player One. I'm glad that it's doing well. Armada has been greenlit. It's make it so there's going to be a Ready Player One sequel book, which I was fine with there not being, but I knew there was going to be one, and we talk about it. So whatever, it's fine. Again, it doesn't ruin the first one. There's just more content that you can accept or not accept if you don't want to. Speaking of canon movies and movies with lots of lore and straight up canon shipping, Court of Thorns and Roses.
Thorns and Roses.
Thorns and Roses. Did I say Thorn and Roses? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, what an idiot.
He's already messed up. So, okay.
Thorns and Roses. Can you tell me about people? What is it and why is it good and why does everyone like it so much?
Yes, so let's say the name properly so everybody knows what we're talking about. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas is finally getting a movie, and this is a book series that it's one of my favorites. Sarah J. Maas is definitely one of my favorite authors. I have a holy trinity of favorite authors. She is one of them, and the first book is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but calling it just a Beauty and the Beast retelling is such a disservice to it because it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling on steroids, and it takes place in this super high fantasy world. There's this land of fae, and it's just really, really cool. There's so much lore and mythology that goes into it, and it's really in depth. Obviously, there's lots and lots of shipping. It is a YA trilogy, and it's really, really awesome. I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you ship Raylo, because the second book is so Raylo. It's so Raylo. I can't say a lot about it because I'll spoil the whole thing because it's a huge plot point that cannot be spoiled. But the movie has been greenlit. I don't know when we're going to be getting it. It's still pretty early days. But the people who are doing it are the people who made the Fantastic Four movies. And so I'm a little bit worried about it. And the writer that they're apparently getting hasn't really done anything before. But
That's okay.
Sarah J. Maas is really invested in her story. So she's done Court of Thorns and Roses. She's also done Throne of Glass. She's extremely invested in her characters and in her stories. So I would be very surprised if she isn't very involved in the making of this film and making sure that it's like the way that she wants it to be. So I'm really, really excited for it. And I highly recommend anything by her, because it's like her writing is just like absolutely top notch. It is. It's so good. Yeah, I love it. I mean, obviously she's got her problems, but it's still really good.
Yeah, and I see it everywhere, and everyone's talking about it. And yeah, and if you like, if you like Beauty and the Beast, and you also like lore, which are like things that we talk about so much in both on our show, you probably would like the book, and definitely would recommend checking it out.
Yeah, she weaves a lot of different retellings into all of her stories. Like Throne of Glass has lots of different stuff. Like the original idea for Throne of Glass was, what if Cinderella went to the ball to assassinate the prince, and there's like Little Red Riding Hood, and there's all kinds of stuff. It's just really cool.
Do you like it more than Lunar Chronicles?
Well, they're very different books.
Yeah.
They have like very different feels for it. I know it's hard. It's hard because Marissa Mayer is also up there as one of my favorite authors too. I would say, as a whole, I like the Lunar Chronicles more than Throne of Glass, but Throne of Glass is very, very different. I'm comparing those two because those two are the most similar, because like Thorns and Roses is like totally different. But I will say that like one of my favorite books of all time is Tower of Dawn, which is from the Throne of Glass series. So I mean, it's hard to compare, man.
Did you see that they like photoshopped Tom Holland's like junk out of all of the Spider-Man stuff?
Are you talking about Peter the Tuck Parker?
Yeah, Peter the Tuck Parker. Yeah, isn't that be so funny? Poor Tom Holland.
I totally missed this too.
Yeah, so stupid.
Did you read the article that they wrote about this? It's so funny, especially because like the Infinity War posters are that's what we're talking about here, and like the Captain America and the Bucky ones are doing like they're just their butts. They're doing the Black Widow pose, and I love it. They're showing off their assets, and then they get to Peter Parker and they like airbrush him so he's like extremely flat. And it's like everybody's freaking out.
Like really flat, like
yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like, it's funny. Like I wonder, is it on purpose? Like, yeah, right? Obviously.
I have no idea.
It's like we've got a penis in one.
I wonder if that's why they turned Bucky and Captain America around, so that like they didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
Well, this just keeps reminding me of like a couple of weeks ago on Twitter. Like we had like Bulgegate happening because everybody was like hyper analyzing this one picture of Kylo Ren, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" So this is what it's making me think.
Poor Adam Driver.
I know. I always feel bad for Adam Driver. Everybody wants him to read thirst tweets for BuzzFeed. I'm like, no, he's socially awkward, and he would hate that. He would absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I love that you're looking out for him.
He would. He wouldn't be comfortable.
You know him better than anybody.
I know him so well. He's my best friend, Dale.
So I've got a song you should listen to. It's called "Stan" by Eminem. You should check it out. You should just check out this song "Stan" by Eminem. Have you ever heard the song "Stan" by Eminem?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? You should check it out. It's a good song.
Okay. Is it because I'm a Kylo stan?
No.
Not the same kind of stan?
It's about a superfan writing to Eminem, and it's very like, why don't you write me back? Like, you said you would. I know you better than anybody. That's okay, though. I'll talk to you later. It's like, you must not be getting my letters. That's strange. And then Eminem just finds like, yo, guy, like, I am getting your letters. Leave me alone.
See, I respect people's privacy, Dale. I would never be like that.
You were so concerned I was being really, like, you're so funny. I love you. All right. Don Quixote.
Oh my god.
Why am I excited about this? Why am I...
Well, you should be excited about this because it just brought every single Reylo historical AU to life, is why you should be excited about this.
Stop comparing everything to Reylo. Tell me about Don Quixote.
It's so Reylo, though. Okay, so this movie has been in production for a very long time.
Yes.
If you don't know, it's called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. It's the story of Don Quixote is a really cool story. If you don't know too much about it, you should definitely read up on it. But this has been in production for a very long time. It was said that it was going to come out this spring, just to like straight to Amazon or straight to Hulu or something like that. But they've hit another snag with production, and now it's delayed again, whatever.
Adam Driver's in it, by the way, everybody.
Adam Driver is in it, by the way. So they just released a trailer, which if you haven't seen, I will link below, because I've seen it. I don't even know how many times I've seen this trailer a lot of times.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It looks so good.
It looks, and I'm definitely gonna like make it the tag in our video a bunch of times.
Yeah, it looks so freaking amazing. Adam Driver looks amazing in this.
Girls? Do you watch Girls at all?
I do not watch Girls. I want to, but I'm afraid to.
Why?
I don't know.
If you watch,
I watch Game of Thrones. I watch.
That's what I was gonna say. If you watch,
American Horror Story, but for some reason, like I know that his character's super weird, and I'm just not sure.
Here's the thing that is fantastic about the show Girls. Every character changes so much all the time.
Right.
In
that's
very
what I've heard.
Natural ways.
Well, we do have one more news item. The directors of Infinity War are apparently urging fans not to spoil it. They're apparently like really worried about spoilers, which I feel like that's like a given. But the fact that they're actually saying something tells me that like this ending is probably not what we think it's going to be. I'm thinking that something's happening and they really don't want people to spoil it. Like Han Solo dies level of spoils, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm worried that they think that one of the characters dying is going to be so shocking and crazy that we're all like, no, we have been saying that this should happen. Mm-hmm. But really what I think is half the characters are going to die.
Yeah. I think they're going to, I think it's going to be big, whatever it is. It's not just because everybody's been talking about like, well, obviously somebody's got to die. And a lot of people do think it's Captain America. I would not be surprised if we lose a lot of the cast.
That's what the whole premise of this. They even can like. So I have my Infinity Gauntlet comic back there, and that book again is about him putting the Infinity Gauntlet together and being like, I like for my first command, half the universe is dead, and so that's what he does, and so half the entire universe dies, and that's just a way to, you know, you can retcon it. You can like, if you beat them, they come back and all that stuff, you know, like there's going to be ways to always undo comic book deaths. But if you really want this to be like, this is what it's been building to, like, that's what it was building to, is all these characters just getting wiped out by Thanos right away. And everyone's just like, what? Like, okay, like who do we got here? We got like a tree guy. And we got Spider-Man.
We got a raccoon.
Yeah, like, okay, who else do we got? Like Doctor Strange, because he was in a different dimension when it happened, so he didn't get impacted. No, that's always what happens. And, like,
I mean, honestly though, like any of the original Avengers, like they're all on the table.
Right. Hulk would be a good one to kill right away. Because he's like, because that you get rid of Hulk or Thor. For a period of time, you know, how do you fight Thanos? Yeah, with a guy who shoots missiles or lasers, like he could be dead. You know, like Captain America. Like it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be crazy. It's definitely gonna be like, all right, guys, we're the B team plus like maybe one A guy. Yeah, it'll definitely be like your whole A team is just like they'll be caught up or they'll be indisposed somehow. Yeah, something's going to happen. And that's where I think you're going to get Guardians of the Galaxy to somehow be involved, right? Yeah, I think so. And that's I'm interested to see how they weave in. That's why they need to come up with a plan. And the plan is to, like, how do we get all these people back? So this has been episode 59. Wow. Episode 59 of the DCC. Thank you so much for joining us, as always. Shannon, what a great conversation about Star Wars that we had. As always, of course, Dale. I'm always ready to talk Star Wars. Yeah, it made me feel good, though. So it was nice to be able to talk about it. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you, everybody. Please leave a review. Please like. Please share. Sorry about the video issues last week. You know, these things happen. We're not professionals or anything. And with that, I will see you in a galaxy far, far away. Bye, double hand wave. Bye. Has my reverse setup freaked you out at all? Was it weird for you? I didn't even notice. Harsh.